Hi, I'm Scott Barber. This is the Landscape Ontario podcast. So, have you noticed that more and more homeowners and businesses are really stepping up their game when it comes to beautiful, really classy holiday lighting? It turns out there's a growing trend towards hiring professionals to make homes and businesses really shine through the holidays. On this episode, I'm joined by Scott Sim. He's the VP of Moonglow Lightscapes, as well as the chair of Ello's Lighting Sector Group, to talk about why this is such a growing market and how landscape lighting contractors can take advantage by adding it to their service offerings. That is coming up next.
Are you new to the horticulture and landscape profession? Are you looking to improve your skills and build your qualifications? Or are you an employer looking to support, upskill, and retain your team? Registering for the Horticultural Technician Apprenticeship Program is an excellent way to further your career in a field you love while still earning a paycheck. As an employer, you'll benefit from your team members' new skills, increased job satisfaction, and ultimately supporting your staff retention. Apprenticeship is a combination of on-the-job training provided by your employer and in-class training at Fanshawe, Humber, or Algonquin College. Financial incentives and grants are available along the way to help cover costs for both apprentices and employers. And the best part, Landscape Ontario is here to support you at every step along the way. So what are you waiting for? Learn more, attend one of our info sessions, or register at our website, horticulturetechnician.ca. So Scott, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today. Really appreciate it. Would like to just start off, if you could, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and, how you came into the lighting part of the industry.
Thanks, Scott. Really excited to be here. I kind of cut my teeth on lighting during my time at Turf Care Products. I started as an inside staffer, if you will, and then moved my way to outside sales, territory rep, whatever you'd like to sort of call that. And along the way, I had some great mentors there, namely John Higo, and through Illumicare, one of the products that we represented, Raymond Josephine. So did a lot of site visits with contractors, and in turn, Raymond or John would join a lot of the time, and of course, the additional training they would offer us. And that really just got me, I guess you could call it, gave me the bug towards the lighting industry. When I was at Turf Care, we dabbled in the supply of holiday lighting products specifically. So that's where I sort of learned about the industry, or that, maybe we'll call it a subset of the industry. Probably didn't fully appreciate its size and scope and scale until I was on the other side of the counter, per se. We moved some units and stuff, but I didn't see it as a big enterprise by any stretch.
Yeah, more of a niche, maybe, at least in your estimation, or maybe it was smaller at that time. I don't know.
And hard to say. I mean, I was dealing with, a southwestern Ontario market, kind of well west of the GTA, so maybe a less mature market in general too. So that would maybe jade my perception of it as well. But I think it was just generally a less mature market at that point in time. Like we're talking anywhere in the 10 to 15 year mark away, back now.
Yeah. So fast forward into today. Today we're obviously looking to talk, specifically about this. It's from what I understand, it's been pretty amazing to see sort of the growth of this subsector of lighting. Can you tell us, I guess, what that part looks like from your perspective now? How has it become such an important part of what lighting contractors do?
So I can, I'm just maybe to back up where I am now.
Yeah, please.
I'm the vice president at Moonglow Lightscapes, and I've been here now I've been with the company 6 years. I've been a partner for about 1.5 years now, and even from time I started to now, how the holiday lighting business has evolved is really epic, almost, in a sense. Um, Part of it, like obviously, broad strokes, we've seen rapid growth. Part of it stemmed from an initial growth came from one Kitchener area company that their business was based around tree service, arbor work and what have you. That business became too much of a focus for them that they couldn't sort of take the time away to do holiday lighting. And our phones rang that year, and we heard about that. What happened after that was, really the best case scenario that you can imagine. You get out into a neighborhood, people see your trucks, your lawn signs thereafter, the phones ring from that. The websites get more notice, because your neighbor got it, people are searching it. We've seen in recent years where we've had people even pre-Labor Day reaching out to us to want to talk about holiday lighting. And so it just shows you, how much more it's become front of mind to people now. And it's more common. Saying that, I think there's still a perception. There might be an undervalued perception to some people who are, calling us. There's certainly some educating to be had with this, and there's certainly some people that when they realize the pricing, it's not for them. It's not their cup of tea.
Sure. Yeah, and that makes sense. But I guess at the same time, there's still a significant market, a significant number of homeowners, people out there that are willing to invest, or are eager, I should say, to invest in that kind of thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Residential is still probably our number one through all this, but we also have done some work for some commercial properties where, I think the goal of them is to show community their pride in the holiday season, and furthermore their holiday pride to their staff. And I think it's a beacon of sorts, it's a symbol of sorts to staff. We've got into some institutional stuff, namely a couple of retirement facilities or old age homes of sort.
Right.
And their goal there is to, again, boost the morale of the patients and residents. And it's really something, to hear those feedback stories with those places, how they receive that. And another unique one we've got 3 area hospices that we decorate now. And it's a part of a larger picture fundraising drive that they're using, the lighting event and the lighting feature to draw attention to them, to raise funds for the holiday season, somewhere along the terminology of lights of love, or
Sure.
some play on that terminology. And those are really special ones to be a part of it, and you take a lot of extra pride in those jobs.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love that. That sounds like a lot of fun to be able to bring that joy and excitement to people like that is pretty cool. Yeah, really cool.
We've been privy to some really incredible messages from homeowners we've decorated for, and they're obvious to share praise. But when you get praise in the form of a note that they share with you from one of their neighbors saying, "I love that tree you guys decorate every year," or "I love how you decorate your house annually," and what that means to somebody. I remind our staff of that we do something A, very fun, but B, very, very meaningful and very uplifting, especially if you look at what we've been through the last couple of years. I think a lot of what we did really got some people through some tough times in a small portion. And I don't want to take any sort of, too much credit for what we did, but it was special to some households that were struggling through a time.
Absolutely. And the holidays, that holiday season is, so many memories I think we all have, looking back over our childhoods, our lives. And, you remember, coming home and the house felt festive. It felt like there was a holiday spirit to it, and obviously this is part of it. So what can a professional bring?
Mhm.
What is, I guess, the difference? Why are
Yeah.
people investing in professionals to come and do, a really top end job?
So, there's a multitude of reasons. And I mean, like anything, you can sort of tap into different things depending on the client. But I think, one of the key ones I think we hear about is safety. We get the call from the wife saying, my husband doesn't need to be climbing ladders anymore. And we get that. And, we certainly use ladders in our work. We also use cherry pickers in our work. And so, we've tow behind lifts or genie lifts at times. So safe practice. And to even further that, and this is a good note for contractors thinking about this kind of work, working at heights is key, getting that training, and your aerial platform training is key. So we have those things, and we're not afraid to kind of let the public know that we have them as well, and we're able to do the work safely, so you don't have to run that risk out there. That's one of the reasons.
Sure.
I think there is a good supply chain of better grade product out there than what the homeowner grabs at or can have access to from the likes of the big box store product. We're buying product that, it's going to cost more, but we're also able to have that product for 3, 4, 5 type of years. LED technology is proving itself time and time again, but beyond that, even cord quality and clip quality is just those little nuances and such that we're able to put a better product up for you. Those would probably be two of the biggies. And then I think maybe even just the fact of proper installation techniques. I mean, we've all seen those houses where every 5th bulb was clipped or something like that. We clip every bulb on the eaves troughs. The trees that we do, we are consistent spacing as we wrap those trees. So and we aim for consistencies of even the color, things like that, right? Where again, everybody's probably driven by a house that had 4 warm white bulbs and then a couple of cool ones jammed in there.
Yeah.
And we know how to identify those differences.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And then what about like the design? How does that, is that something that works with, the professional with the homeowner? How do you come up with the look that is going to be on a house or a building?
So more often than not, in this day and age of technology, again, most of the quoting we do is through a website lead or through some kind of an email chain. Find out their address, pull up their home on Google Earth, or have them send photos of the home if it's newer or unavailable or changed or what have you. Sort of do the design takeoff on that. You get a good sense after doing this for a while of what the measurements across the front of a garage are, what the measurements of peak heights are. We'll talk about things. We'll obviously ask them, hey, do you want to do trees? Do you want to do the house? So that obviously we can identify those things. We've got some measuring software where I can, it's online. I found something where we can plug in the height and width of a tree and the spacing that we want to install at, and it'll tell me how many strands of lights I need. So they come to us for the expertise.
Yeah.
And then there's other things that we can look at the house if we see, maybe some unique pillars or railings, great opportunity for garland or some kind of wrap light. Maybe they've got a nice open peak face above a front door or above a garage door. Great spot for a wreath. We look for those kind of nice traditional touches to add. Those are nice add-ons to the home. And again, I think those are the kind of things we can suggest to the homeowner. And as budgets go, we can present you a price with and without as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing I wanted to ask about is in terms of staffing, and your crews and your staff members, was this pardon my, I guess, ignorance on this, but like typically, how late into the season would you guys be installing? Would you be installing lighting for landscapes, outdoor lighting systems? So does this, in other words, does it, for my long-winded question here, does this help extend the season for your team?
So we've got, compound the question or compound the answer, maybe. We've got a unique situation here is where we own a landscape maintenance and construction company, as well as the lighting company. So we've got, a season where we're doing landscape lighting, basically one crew, 2 to 3 staff, till the end of October. We have all the labor from the other side of the business available, albeit, they're still doing some season-ending tasks like leaf cleanup and that, but we're able to actually, when we fully ramp up during the days, run with 3 crews of 2, plus we will, on some special projects, bring in some extra people. So long-winded answer, we're able to give people some work later on because, we're starting sort of mid-October now, kind of a slow rolling start, but we've done Christmas lights as late as the 22nd or 23rd of December. There's always somebody out there who panic calls, says, I guess we're hosting Christmas. Can you help? So there's some of those unique circumstances that happen last minute. More often than not, I think people are, as I alluded to earlier, people are planning sooner and earlier. So we're hearing from them to get them into sort of that core month, which is November.
Yeah. And then what about teardown? Is that something that's I guess part of the package when a homeowner, makes that kind of purchase?
Yeah. So in our scenario, it's we definitely do the removal because our scenario is a rental scenario. So we provide them with an installation, removal, and we store the product because we own the product. And the pricing we give them is based on a 3-year commitment on their part. So it's a mutual benefit to both of us. They know we're coming back year over year. We know we've got reoccurring revenue year over year, but also it helps us absorb our initial investment, which is material, and it becomes beneficial. Like I said, it's beneficial to all parties involved. As far as timing for takedown, some specific sites, we get early January, but I would say the bulk of stuff happens through February and into March. Mm-hmm. This past season was a tougher one because we dealt with a lot of ice, a lot of snow, right. And it gets kind of prohibitive and counterproductive if you're out there trying to take stuff down and you're dealing with frozen gutters, ice dams, running between peaks and things like that. So we kind of, we work with the weather as best we can. Again, back to the fact that we have a maintenance company, we do snow and ice management, but there's opportunity in between, and again, it's a great opportunity to keep people working 12 months of the year, fill in those gap seasons that a lot of companies struggle with.
Absolutely. And of course, the profession struggles with in terms of the seasonality for employment and recruiting and attracting great people. So it could be another piece of the puzzle that helps. That's right. a contractor, a company, keep crews employed throughout the year. And that's a huge win for sure.
That's it. Yeah, it's been a big deal. I mean, we still, probably the month we struggle the most with would be March, just because March is kind of that in-betweener. But this has really helped bridge some gaps in a lot of ways.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Question for you that just came to mind. Has there ever been any kind of interesting or, any cool lighting that you've done? Has anybody said, for example, what comes to my mind is like, I want the Clark Griswold National Lampoon's house. Has anybody ever had any outlandish ideas, or most people like that sort of classic look?
We've had the odd outlandish one, but we feel like, we that's not our client. And I don't mean that to sound ignorant or such. Sure. We stay in a lane where we feel like, we do classic things. Okay. Yeah. I talk like the things I talked about earlier, properly wrapping trees and houses, peaks and eaves, garland and wreaths and things like that. We mix in colors, but we don't get into like color changing or or things like that. We've kind of figured out the lane that we want to be in. And I feel like the clientele we're dealing with tend to be a mid to higher end client.
Sure.
And with that, I think they're the type of people that appreciate classic, clean,
Yeah.
Proper, if you will.
Yeah, sort of that traditional sort of aesthetic.
Exactly.
Obviously the idea, complement the look and style and design of the home. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so no Clark Griswold home.
No,
I'd love to see that someday.
we get, the furthest stretch away from traditional we'll get is some of the mix of multicolors maybe that people want.
Sure.
But again, for some people that might be their traditional. I have a client right now where we did a unique multicolor mix that she had actually an old strand of incandescent lights that she wanted to mimic, and so we were able to find pink and teal to mix in with blue, red, and yellow, because that was what the strand she had was. And that was her traditional. That was some of whatever childhood memory almost. And so that's as far out as we get. But those are easy to accommodate too. And they're again very, very fun, very unique.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else people should know about this topic? Whether it's a contractor that's maybe thinking about whether they want to get into this. Anything we haven't touched on?
I think you hit a good one there, actually, about the contractor that's listening to this and saying, how do I get into this? How do I start? Where do I start? I think if we look at our industry and the clients we deal with, you look at irrigation contractors, lighting contractors, and maintenance construction, design build contractors. They all have one thing in common. They have clients. They have clients that trusted them consistently or at some point to do business with them. And it's no real trick or science that, it's easier to sell to people who already like you and have already done business with you. So, mining your existing client base is a no-brainer. We've even seen it from a cross-selling aspect between holiday lighting and landscape lighting, and a vice versa, that they've somewhat fed off of each other, where they call you for one and they end up talking to you about multiple as the years go by. So it's I think there's an incredible opportunity with your sort of existing CRM. Take advantage of it. Outside of that, good website, good representation there. As you build a portfolio, get those images available for all to see. Use your social media channels. The website's a biggie because I think this kind of stuff is a heavily searched Google item. They're gonna, they want to find you on Google. They want to get to your website, send you a response. Be prepared in this season because it's the window of opportunity for Christmas lights never gets any bigger, right? It's always the same time frame essentially. So be prepared for the inrush that could come, and make yourself available and make yourself timely in response. And so have a plan how you want to respond to customers, because if you want to get started in it and you slip out of the gate with not replying and things like that, there's another option always out there. I've been told by clients that I was a higher priced guy, but because I got back to them in a timely fashion and how I responded, that was the difference maker. And to me, that sounds simple, but it's something that, as business people and owners, you want to be conscious of.
You need to have a plan. You need to have the systems in place in the capacity. You got to be intentional on it. It does. Yeah, it sounds simple, but especially when you're busy, you might be preparing in that time period for the winter maintenance transition. You might be in the fall cleanup schedule. So yeah, there's no shortage of things. So yeah, you have to have a plan to make it work. And then it sounds like, for you, for perhaps for others, it's, once you get out there and you start doing these installs and you do a great job and it stands out,
it does.
The quality, it stands out, and it's the word of mouth of how did you do such a beautiful job with your lights? The neighbor
Yeah,
asking at the bus stop or what have you, and
yeah.
it sort of grows from there.
And that's one of those, that's where one of those grassroots pieces of marketing can work for you, which is your lawn sign. And have a nice 12 by 12 chloroplast sign on a stick and out at the end of the laneway. And those go a long way. Our staff will have generic business cards with them that they can email us or call our office number. And they quite often, people walking a dog going by going, oh, how do I get this? And that inevitably happens too. So, because if you've got logoed vehicles, you got a big billboard out there that people are going to notice you and what you're doing.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, perhaps we leave it there unless there's anything else, Scott. And I hope people listening will, if you have an inkling that this might be something for you, you definitely, there's definitely a market there. It's a growing market. It's definitely interest. And it could be a great way, obviously, to add revenue, add another component of a business, help keep staff employed longer throughout the year with work. And for sure. And so appreciate you taking some time to chat about it.
I appreciate it, Scott. One last, comment I'll make is that I'm the chair on the lighting sector group at Landscape Ontario, and myself and, some of my colleagues on the group are very available to reach out to talk this topic. The other thing that don't forget, we got a list of great suppliers in the province of Ontario here that are, LO members or LO associate members who are definitely great at helping. I can speak to the support of our suppliers. They're important. They're a very important cog in our wheel. So
no question. And that's sort of the beauty of LO, or the real success of LO, is having those, like the lighting sector group, having experts, having people that you can call up or send an email to, or see at an event like a Congress or any number of LO events, and find out more about a new topic, a new potential business opportunity. So hopefully people are going to hear this and give you a call, Scott, and others on that lighting committee. And I'm sure that you guys are always probably looking for interested people. So to
absolutely
contribute. So if you're a lighting contractor listening to this, definitely reach out to Scott. I'm speaking for you now, but
absolutely,
Scott or the LO team, and
we're
always looking for people that are eager to get involved.
We definitely are. We're always happy to have a new member, a new voice, and new ideas. It's never goes unnoticed. That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Great chatting with you, and talk again soon.
You as well, Scott. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for listening to the Landscape Ontario podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I hope you'll consider sharing it with colleagues or maybe even your staff team. And please consider subscribing. It's free. New episodes come out every single month.